Well, hello, fellow constitutionalists, and I want to talk to you today, hopefully having a good day, but I want to talk to you today about something I come across in Reason Magazine, and I had a discussion online with one of my YouTube commenters on my vlog about Charlie Gard and how government healthcare system let him down. Actually, I believe the government healthcare system led to his death, his premature death. And he was making all sorts of assumptions in there that he couldn't prove. And the one assumption he was making in there was about the truth about infant mortality rates. And this is something that's been debunked for years and years and years about how everybody in the anti-freedom group and that want single-payer healthcare systems and want the government to get into healthcare, they forget some facts. Again, they live in this echo chamber, and they forget a couple facts that go on in our society over other societies. And one is basically our racial makeup is one of them. Two, our culture. And three, we actually believe in protecting the life of the unborn. We go to extreme measures to deliver and bring to health premature babies. I got a niece that's one of those. That was a preemie, and she's fantastic today because of modern medicine. And this article here, Truth About Healthcare and Infant Mortality, is by Steve Chapman. It was posted on August 24th of 2009, but it still holds today, and this is over at reason.com. And this is one of the things I found in my research about that. Lack of access to healthcare does not explain America's infant mortality rate, and it never has and never will. But folks that in the anti-freedom crowd, they like to use these numbers and not dig below the numbers and hope. And I won't say pray, because most of them are atheist or agnostic, but they hope and pray you don't dig below the numbers, because once you do, you'll find out that they're not that simple. America has a medical system, the American medical system has the latest technology, the greatest variety of new drugs, and unparalleled resources, but anyone who thinks we're getting something great for our dollars inevitably encounters a two-word rebuke: infant mortality. The United States is the richest nation on earth, but it comes in 29th in the world in survival rates among babies. This mediocre ranking is supposed to make us make an irrefutable case for healthcare reform. If we care enough to insure everyone, we are told, we would soon rise to the health standards of other modern nations. It's just a matter of getting over our weird resistance to a big government role in medical care. And this here is important, that's why I highlighted this, but not every health issue is a health care issue. The reason boxers are unusually prone to concussions is not that they lack medical insurance. Doctors may treat head injuries, but it's a lot easier to prevent them. Absent prevention, we shouldn't blame the medical industry for punch-drunk fighters. And just a side note, there's a company that created a new helmet for the NFL that is supposed to greatly reduce concussions. And there's another example. NFL players have some of the best health care in the world. Doesn't prevent concussions, and you'll see why here in a minute. Life expectancy, the subject of a previous column, infant mortality is a function of many factors. And see, this is what the anti-freedom folks don't want you to know. The more you look at the problem, the less it seems to be correctable by a big new federal role in medical insurance, and in fact, the less it seems to be mainly a medical issue at all. Now, one of the reasons, and we are very high in this, one of the reasons that, and you can go read this whole article, I'm not trying to cherry pick here, I'm just for time purposes, I'm going through and just reading some statistics. Nearly 40% of American babies back in 2009 were born to unwed mothers. And factors like these, and look folks, there's a lot of things that go into that, and I don't want to go down those rabbit holes, but one of these factors of babies born to unwed mothers is linked to low birth weights in the babies. That's just a fact. That's a fact that can be searchable, knowable, and understandable. Now, this guy named Nicholas Ebersole, a scholar at the American Enterprise Institute in Washington, also attributes the gap largely to conduct. Go back to the boxer or the football. It's not the medical care that they get, it's the conduct of their lives that's happening here. White Americans' higher rate of infant mortality is explained not by poverty as conventionally constructed or by medical care, but rather by the habits, actions, and indeed lifestyles of a critical portion of its parents. Whites are not unique to this type of behavior. African American babies are far more likely to die than white ones, which is often taken as evidence that poverty and lack of health insurance are to blame. That's entirely plausible until you notice the other racial ethnic gap. Hispanics of Mexican or Central American or South American ancestry not only do considerably better than blacks on infant mortality, they do better than whites. Social disadvantages don't explain very much. And this is where the anti-freedom crowds want to go. They want to make this social construct inside their echo chamber, inside their narrative. And it doesn't work. If you dig into the numbers, it never works, folks. So my advice is don't believe what you're told. Go and do some research and make sure what you're being told is the truth. And if they continue to lie to you, quit using those sources. And so people will say, well, you know, we got to have these healthcare programs, got to get these healthcare programs to these parents, these unwed mothers and stuff like that. Okay, look at here. When New York expanded access to prenatal care under Medicaid, the effort reduced the rate of low birth weight infants by just 1%. Just 1%. In Tennessee, after a similar effort, researchers found no consummate improvements in use of early prenatal care, birth weight, or neonatal mortality. So even though the insurance and the care was given to these women, they didn't access it. It was a habit. It was a conduct, just like they were saying up here. It's not for medical care, but rather habits, actions, and indeed lifestyles of a critical portion of its parents. Those are hard-hitting facts, folks. It's not lack of insurance. It's we need to get at these folks and their morality, one, and work with them on their morals. Why do we have so many unwed mothers? You know, and I know that's a touchy subject to a lot of folks, but we got to work on that. And then the other thing to say, one of the reasons that we have a lot more tiny newborns, or one of the reasons is that we have a lot more tiny newborns than the rest of these countries. A lot of these countries over there, they don't try to save the baby in womb. They just let it miscarriage and that's it. They don't try to save these prenatal babies. A lot of times, if there are a lot of countries over there, folks, and I'll link to another article I have on this that I read on the show this week. A lot of these countries out there, they don't have the technology that we have to spend on the babies. And yeah, sometimes we do spend a lot of money on a baby and it doesn't live out its first full year. And that's where they measure infant mortality, the survivability to the first year. So we actually have a lot more live-born babies that the medical profession is trying to save that actually die, that contributes to that number. And in this other article, they said if you take all these, compare apples to apples, oranges to oranges, onions to onions, we're just as good as any other country out there at about a 4.6 per thousand births of infant mortality instead of the 6.1 that we're at. So this argument, this gets me, this irks me to no end that they're going to try to use infant mortality, these babies, and try to say America is worse when America is actually, in my mind, and this is just an exaggeration, it's 1,000,000 times better. Because we do more for premature babies and we do more for handicapped babies that are born. Those are just the hard facts, folks. So more government insurance doesn't take care of the issue. The issue is more deep-rooted in society than that, and government's not going to be able to take care of it. Society has to, on an individual or community basis, help take care of this issue, not government. These are my thoughts. Folks, if you like these videos, please subscribe to my channel. Hit the notification button so you know that when I put a new video up. Give me a thumbs up or thumbs down and give me the reasons why you like it or dislike it. I do engage with my audience as much as I can, and I just hope you appreciate these videos I'm putting out here, and that in the future I'm going to still continue to put out these videos, and hopefully you like them. And I enjoy doing these, I really do. I found YouTube and I enjoy doing YouTube and stuff like that. So have a great rest of the day, and we'll see you on the next video.